Now on CoastTV News.
A major crash today in Cambridge. The state of Delaware in the weeds, literally. And property tax bills are hitting hard across Sussex County.
And it was an absolutely gorgeous start to our Labor Day weekend here on Delmarva. We're in for a pretty chilly night. In fact, temperatures falling some places in the 40s tonight. And it gets even better as we head into our Labor Day. My full forecast in minutes.
This is CoastTV News at 6.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Grace Eckerly and welcome to CoastTV News at 6. We begin tonight with the Cambridge Fire Department responding to a major crash on Route 50 earlier today. Just take a look at these images here of the scene. It looks like an aviation response was there too. The department says 2 cars were involved and 1 passenger trapped in the driver's seat against a guardrail. First responders removed the roof and doors to free that person. They were then airlifted to a nearby hospital. And we have an update for you tonight in that single car accident that happened just earlier this month in Georgetown. The driver, 21-year-old Marco Lobos Simaj, was dead as a result of his injuries that he sustained in that crash. Delaware State Police are still investigating why the Honda Pilot he was driving veered off the road and into a ditch where it then hit a tree, causing the car to roll over several times before finally crashing into another tree. And Governor Matt Meyer vetoed a bill aimed at easing local restrictions on marijuana sales. The recreational weed was legalized in Delaware in 2023, but Sussex County zoning laws severely limited where recreational dispensaries could operate. Something Senator Trey Parody, the sponsor of Senate Bill 75, thought this legislation would change.
Share much of that passion. They do not want to see any barriers put in their way. Again, I think we clearly disagree on a few of the details, but I think overall, when you look at the spectrum of people's views on recreational marijuana, Senator Pardee and I are actually pretty close, and we're gonna come to some resolution that benefits Delaware.
And the General Assembly could override Governor Meyer's veto with a 2/3 vote in both houses. The bill did not get a supermajority support in either house when vetoed on last session. And in Millsboro, a search warrant led to an arrest for weapon and drug offenses. It happened at this area here on your screen now. Delaware State Police arrested a 38-year-old man on Friday. The search warrant was obtained following an investigation for the distribution of illegal narcotics. And 4 other adults that were there at the time of the search were also detained, and DSP seized around 45 grams of crack cocaine as well as ammunition. And we're going to take a live look into beautiful and sunny Ocean City as people are enjoying Labor Day weekend, and a banner day that we had at that. Just absolutely gorgeous out there on Delmarva's coast today. First Alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobono is joining us now. Chris, I hope you spent some time outside today.
I definitely did. I was taking the walk outside there in between some stores, some errands earlier. But yeah, I'll tell you what, it is an absolutely picture-perfect day on Delmarva. Crystal clear blue skies in Salisbury there, 72 degrees. Dew point 53, so it is very dry out there. You can see temperatures right now 71 in Lewes. We're at 74 Milton to 74 in Seaford, 72 Ocean Pines. We have a nice little sea breeze there along the coast, but other than that, winds are pretty calm under the influence of high pressure, and that is really going to be our dominating weather pattern as we push through Labor Day and into the start of the new week. Crystal clear skies this evening and into the overnight, and with that said, calm winds. That's going to allow for some radiational cooling and temperatures to dip into the upper 40s to low 50s across a good bit of Delmarva. We'll have the sunshine, cool, crisp conditions continuing through Sunday and your Labor Day, and we stay pretty cool and dry at least through midweek. Then as we get into the tail end of next week, we have some rain that's going to be moving back into the picture. We'll talk more about that in the full 7-day forecast a little later on. Grace.
And the Lewes Yacht Club set to host the 2025 Optimist Atlantic Coast Championship. The club says that they are expecting 160 boats in total from all over the East Coast. The top 25% of the championship gold and silver boats will qualify to participate in the Optimism Team Trials. And the event is scheduled for September 6th and 7th. And from $840 to more than $5,200. That's a jump that one 98-year-old in Lewes saw her annual tax property bill this year. Here's a look at the bill that Carol Orr got in her mailbox this year. The jump comes from after Sussex County reassessed property values across the county. Carol's family says she is on a fixed income and her new expenses go beyond what she currently makes. Carol's son, Skip, says the increase is devastating news for her family.
She is being taxed basically out of all of her assets. And in essence, like a lot of people who are even worse off than my mother, they're being taxed out of their home.
And Sussex County has resources available to people whose bills raised by more than $300 this year. Homeowners can apply to pay their bills off in 3 installments interest-free. Those interested in applying can check out our website at CoastTV News. And smaller lodges are noticing a smaller amount of guests in Ocean City. According to some hotels that Coast TV spoke with, they are bracing for a quieter Labor Day weekend compared to last year, while others say the weekends have been slower over the course of the summer. But according to a recent July report, overall numbers for hotel stays have gone up compared to last July. The executive director of Ocean City Hotel Motel Restaurant Association say these numbers don't paint the entire picture.
The oceanfront and the chain properties are doing fine, and that's what the numbers that we've seen are showing us, because that's all that's being measured are those chain properties. So some of the people who are calling me directly would be some of the smaller mom and pop motels who their numbers are not reported, so we don't actually know what the real numbers are.
And while the sun is getting low on summer, hotels around here are hoping to get another big bump when crowds show up for the Oceans Calling and Country Calling music festivals. An appeals court striking down most of Trump's tariffs, the court ruling many of those tariffs as unlawful use of power.
Well, expecting clear skies through the evening. We fall to 58 by around 10, and it is going to be chilly into the early part of our Sunday as we dip into the lower 50s, maybe even some upper 40s. We'll talk about that all-important Labor Day forecast coming up.
But first, Delaware recognizes Women's Equality Day across the state. The history of the day, that's up next.
This is Coast TV News at 6.
You're looking at photos of Delaware's suffragists who marched for the right to vote, a right granted 105 years ago when the 19th Amendment was ratified. This week in Delaware, we recognized Women's Equality Day, honoring the women's suffrage movement. But advocates say as far as the first state has come, there's still so much more to be done.
Delaware's struggle for women's right to vote. That's the title of this historic marker in Dover, and the reality for these women over 100 years ago, facing scrutiny, arrests, and even torture while fighting for equality.
The suffragists didn't wait for permission. They organized, they educated, and they voted. So I'm asking for each one of us to take a step that makes equality more real in someone's life.
That's Delaware's First Lady Lauren Meyer, commemorating Women's Equality Day on August 26th, honoring the past while calling for continued advancement.
Help a neighbor register to vote and make a plan to vote. Mentor a girl in a STEM class, a skilled trade, or a leadership role. As you climb, turn behind you, reach your hand back and pull someone with you.
Charisse Brewington Carr, director of the Office of Women's Advancement and Advocacy, says Delaware is making strides for women, like in a new bill making genetic testing easier and in adding paid family leave. But there's more to do.
I think the key issue is that yes, today is important. It is a day, but it's also important to look at the fact that we've got to continue this work. It's daily work, it's hourly work, it's work by the minute in terms of the needs of women.
Meyer and Brewington Carr say eliminating Delaware's wage gap remains a top priority. According to the Office of Women's Advancement and Advocacy, data shows for every dollar earned by a white man, white women earn 81 cents, black women earn 72 cents, and Hispanic women earn 51 cents. Brewington Carr thinks having a women's agenda will help advance women and girls' voices at the highest levels.
Collectively walking it in one step to say these are the issues that are pertinent to women in the state of Delaware.
More work and more steps in the long march towards equality.
And despite being the first state, Delaware was actually one of the last when it came to the women's suffrage movement. In 1915, a bill to support women's rights to vote was represented at the old state house, but it was rejected. And in 1920, despite a win in the state Senate, the House refused to vote on the bill, essentially killing it. And it wasn't until 1923 when Delaware belatedly ratified the 19th Amendment, 3 years after it was already national law. And very important to note here that women of color nationwide did not get the right to vote until years later when the Voting Rights Act passed in 1965.
Our wonderful Labor Day weekend is going to continue with sunshine and mild afternoons and cool, crisp nights. A full First Alert forecast is up next right after the break. It doesn't get much better than this for Labor Day weekend on Delmarva. Crystal clear blue skies in Cambridge. The water's like glass. 72 there. 46-degree dew point. Winds are calm. And it is going to be a beautiful evening through Cambridge with temperatures falling to around 60 by around 10 under clear skies. We only hit 74 for a high in Georgetown today with sunshine. So anytime you can get those types of temperatures this time of year with sunny skies is definitely a plus. We're at 71 in Milton to 72 Rehoboth Beach. Check out these dew points in the 40s. Incredibly dry out there as we continue to be under the influence of high pressure building in over the Great Lakes. And this high is going to virtually park right over us as we move into Labor Day itself, which that means is, well, we're not going to see any rain. It'll be really dry here over the next really 5 to 6 days. It's not really until Thursday and Friday we deal with a potential coastal low as well as a cold front. 48 for our inland locations tonight to lower 50s, upper 50s to lower 60s at the coast with that fall-like chill in place. A sensational Sunday. Highs around 76 Georgetown, 76 Lewes to 77 in Cambridge. Highs around 76 in Salisbury to 76 in Ocean City. So there's the clear skies through tomorrow afternoon. More of a northeasterly wind flow, so a nice sea breeze. Tomorrow night we fall right back into the mid to upper 50s away from the coast. And our Labor Day itself looking absolutely fantastic with mostly sunny skies and highs in the upper 70s. So Labor Day itself looking fantastic, beginning in the upper 50s to lower 60s. By the afternoon, temperatures mostly sunny skies with highs generally in the upper 70s to around 80 degrees. So that's really the setup as we go into your Labor Day and really through Tuesday of next week through midweek. High pressure in play with highs generally in the upper 70s to right around 80 degrees. Then things get a little tricky as we get into Thursday and Friday of next week. We may have a system developing off the Carolinas that may move up the coast and spread some moisture in our way. At the same time, a cold front's going to be pushing in through the west, and those systems may kind of cancel each other out, or that system may kind of kick that coastal system out. Either way, we may see some rain move back into the fold Thursday through Friday, but the good news is that system gets out in time for next weekend, and we're going to stay dry and unseasonably cool. As we move into September 4th through the 8th, again, looking at below normal temperatures continuing for much of the east. Well, as we push into Wednesday, we're up to 80 degrees. Well, we kick off the NFL season right here on Coast TV. Sunday Night Football kicking off Thursday night. Eagles and Cowboys, I'm looking forward to that one. And that shower continued threat into Friday, and looking at sunny skies into Saturday. We have more news coming up.
On Friday, a federal appeals court ruled President Donald Trump unlawfully leaned on emergency powers to impose sweeping tariffs. It's the majority opinion. The court upheld a lower court ruling against those tariffs. The judge found Congress did not give the president, quote, wide-ranging authority to impose tariffs when it passed the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. The tariff will remain in place for now since the court delayed implementation of its order until October. We'll have more news after the break. New research is suggesting beta blockers actually pose a threat to women. One analysis done focused only on those women, and it found that some are significantly more likely to have another heart attack if they were treated with beta blockers. They were also more likely to die. Another study found no benefit in using beta blockers for any patient, male or female, whose hearts were still performing well after they had a heart attack. And we'll be right back after the break.
Our picture perfect holiday weekend continues here on Delmarva. Highs tomorrow around 77, mostly sunny skies through the Labor Day with highs right around 76. You can get your forecast anytime by dialing the First Alert weather phone, sponsored by Broxton Mandalas Federico. Your 10-day shows 76 Tuesday, partly cloudy skies. We're up to 80 on Wednesday. The NFL season kicks off right here on Coast TV on Thursday night, and we're looking at temperatures staying pretty below average through most of that 10-day forecast.
Thank you for joining us here tonight at Coast TV News at 6. And for more local news and weather, download our Coast TV News app. Be sure to join us tonight at 11. And until then, have a great night.